Dito malinaw na yung sinabi ng Supreme Court dito na hindi pwedeng itrato lamang itong impeachment na isang political process. Ang sinabi ng Supreme Court, this matter should be treated as a constitutional remedy. It is a constitutional process in order to implement the most significant provision of the Constitution on the accountability of the highest officials of the land. But in doing so, kailangan magkaroon ng compliance of due process of law. Hindi pwedeng basta na lamang i-treat na ganito, parang politika lang ito, may nag-verify na complaint, may nagsampa, may mga inain ng mga affidavit, ebidensya. It's not. The Supreme Court made it very clear kung paano ang paggawa ng impeachment complaint. Dalawa na impeachment complaints yung isinampa. At wala pang February 5. Bakit na nila isinampa ito? Ito yung mga tanong na alam ko mamaya gusto niyong masagot. No?
Okay, on the impeachment against VP Sara. Alright? So, nakikita natin ngayon sa media, parang one-sided lang na presentation. Tama ba? Pero ngayon, meron tayong opportunity na makita natin ano talaga yung totoong naging ruling ng Supreme Court. So, yun po yung pinakauna ko pong tanong sa inyo. Paano po natin ipapaliwanag dun sa ordinaryong mamamayan na nakikinig sa atin ngayon, nanonood sa atin ngayon, ano exactly yung naging desisyon sa final ruling ng Supreme Court? Attorney Lamino.
Thank you, Rob. Unang-una, banggitin ko na dito na dahil sa naging final na desisyon ng Korte Suprema, ay hindi na-impeach si VP Sara. She was not impeached. She was never impeached. Bakit po? Dahil yung isinampang impeachment case sa Senado noong February 5 was declared unconstitutional. It was void from the beginning dahil hindi na-comply doon sa provision po ng Article 11, Section 2, Section 3, Section 4, Section 5 ng ating Constitution. So, ibig sabihin yan, walang impeachment na nangyari against VP Sara dahil na void yung impeachment na sinamba ng Kamara sa Senado. So, masaya tayo, VP Sara was never impeached pursuant to the final ruling of the Supreme Court. So, ang tanong is, was it ever initiated? Yan yung tanong ngayon. Nagkaroon ng initiation, sabi ng Supreme Court, based on the July 2025 decision. And with finality, inapheld nila in a motion for reconsideration, again, by a unanimous vote of 13-0, with 2 justices of the Supreme Court. One did not participate, the other one was on leave. So 13-0 pa rin ang naging desisyon. Ano itong epekto ngayon nitong desisyon ng Supreme Court? Niliwanag nila yung rule on how impeachment can be called initiated. Meron ng mga naunang desisyon ng Supreme Court dyan, yung Francisco versus House of Representatives. Ito yung tungkol sa impeachment noon ni dating Chief Justice Hilario Davidi of Cebu. And then this was reiterated in the case of Gutierrez versus House of Representatives. This was, I think, sometime 2011. And then this time around, clarified ng Supreme Court yan. Na tatlo yung process how impeachment can be considered initiated. Yung una, yung nandoon, napapaloob yan sa provision po ng Article 11, Section 3, subsection 2 and subsection 3. Ito yung pagsasampa ng verified complaint and properly endorsed by a member of the House of Representatives at ifa-file po yan sa Secretariat ng House of Representatives. Yan ang first step na gagawin. Pag ito ang complaint ay naisampa, then this complaint must be put in business, in the order of business within 10 session days. Within 10 session days yan. Hindi calendar days. Kung ano yung session days yan, nasa rules of the House of Representatives yan. Kasi kung session days nila is Monday to Wednesday ba or Monday to Thursday ba, depende kasi sa tempo ng kanilang ginagawa. Kung minsan maabot sila, session sila hanggang Friday rin, no? Basta binibilang dito 10 session days. Kailangan maisama sa order of business. Then, pag naisama sa order of business, the matter must be referred to the Committee on Justice within 3 days. Ito yung tinatawag natin 10 days plus 3 days rule. Once na i-refer yan sa Committee on Justice, then the first mode of initiating impeachment is already done. Yan ang first mode of initiation. Yung second mode of initiation, that is provided for under subsection 5 of section 3, article 11. Ito yung tinatawag nating 1/3 of the total membership of the House will endorse the impeachment complaint, verified impeachment complaint. At dito, clarify din ng Supreme Court that even if there are 1/3 total members of the House will endorse the impeachment, still the matter should be forwarded to the Committee on Justice in order to consolidate all the impeachment complaints, kung marami yung impeachment complaints, and to determine kung talagang lahat ng mga 1/3 members of Congress na pumirma at nag-endorse ng complaint ay nabigyan sila ng kopya, nabigyan sila ng mga attachment, nabigyan sila ng mga ebidensya. And this matter now will have to be consolidated by the Committee on Justice, papadala pa rin sa plenary, and then the plenary will forward that immediately to the Senate, which will now undertake trial in the Senate. That is the second mode. Ano itong pangatlo? Sabi ng Supreme Court, ako rin nagulat dito at first time na at least kahit paano na-clarify. Nagkakaroon pa rin ng pangatlong initiation of impeachment pag yung complaint na dinala sa House of Representatives ay kailangan maisampa sa Senado within the calendar days before the Congress will adjourn sine die. Kailangan maisampa sa Senado. Kahit na nagkaroon na ng total, let's say 1/3 members of the House ang nag-endorse o kaya dinesisyonan sa plenary yung report ng Committee on Justice. But still the matter ay hindi dinala sa Senado at nagkaroon ng adjournment. Sine die, ibig sabihin nun, magtatapos na yung termino ng kasalukuyang Kongreso, the matter will still be considered already initiated. Dito malinaw na yung sinabi ng Supreme Court dito na hindi pwedeng itrato lamang itong impeachment na isang political process. Ang sinabi ng Supreme Court, this matter should be treated as a constitutional remedy. It is a constitutional process in order to implement the most significant provision of the Constitution on the accountability of the highest officials of the land. But in doing so, kailangan magkaroon ng compliance of due process of law. Hindi pwedeng basta na lamang i-treat na ganito, parang politika lang ito, may nag-verify na complaint, may nagsampa, may mga inain ng mga affidavit, ebidensya. It's not. The Supreme Court made it very clear kung paano ang paggawa ng impeachment complaint. And with this, alam na natin kung ano ang gagawin natin. Ngayon, nagkakaroon pa ng kalituhan dahil meron na nagsampa ng impeachment complaints laban kay VP Sara, di ba? Dalawa na impeachment complaints yung isinampa. At wala pang February 5. Bakit na nila isinampa ito? Ito yung mga tanong na alam ko mamaya gusto nyong masagot. No? Pero with that, at least I have given you yung 10 days and 3 days rule at saka yung 1/3 pursuant to the provision of Section 3, subsection 5 of Article 11 na which is considered to be the more direct process of initiating impeachment. Yung unang mode kasi under the provision of Section 3, Subsection 2 and 3, this is what we call the more deliberative process of initiating impeachment. Committee-driven or committee-directed process pursuant to the provision of the Constitution.
Ano po yung mga issues particularly na nire-raise nila against the Supreme Court on this issue?
Well, sinasabi nila that the Supreme Court now has overreached yung kanilang mandate in the interpretation of the Constitution, na parang pinapakialaman na ng Supreme Court yung exclusive prerogative of the House of Representatives to pass its own rules of proceedings. Hindi po. No, hindi po. Kasi while the House of Representatives has the exclusive power to come up with its own rules of proceedings, whether that is for legislative proceedings or impeachment proceedings, or whatever proceedings that may be undertaken by the Congress or the House of Representatives for that matter, it must do so in compliance with the provision of the Constitution. Kaya nga, pag nagkaroon ng decision ng Supreme Court in the interpretation of any act of government, whether that is a law enacted by Congress or rules of proceedings passed by the Congress, or even executive orders or proclamation by the executive department, and the Supreme Court makes an interpretation as to whether or not this legislative fiat or executive fiat are in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution, the Supreme Court is not enforcing its supremacy over the executive or the legislative. What the Supreme Court is doing is ensuring the supremacy of the Constitution. Yun ang ibig sabihin nun. That is the doctrine of the supremacy of the Constitution. Kaya pag nag-desisyon ng Supreme Court, we have to respect that. May nagsasabi na member ng House, what if we are going to defy the Supreme Court decision? So there is going to be what? Constitutional crisis. No, it's not going to have any constitutional crisis at that. If the House of Representatives will keep on defying itong kanilang decision ng Supreme Court and will insist, then we are no longer governed by laws. We are no longer government of laws. Then we become government of men. That is anarchy. Hindi tayo papayag na ganun. At palagay ko ang taong bayan hindi papayag na ganun. Because we are a representative democratic state. And we are always governed by the provisions of the Constitution and by laws. So kailangan sumunod itong mga congressmen sa decision ng Supreme Court. Because as I said, hindi dahil nagkaroon sila ng decision ng Supreme Court, ay sinasabi ng Supreme Court na the Supreme Court is supreme over the House or Congress or the Executive. No. The Supreme Court is saying the Constitution is supreme over all acts of government agencies, including the Congress or even the palace for that matter.